Wow. Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Caben, your fanatic.
Well, welcome everyone. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I think we did, 3 episodes last year?
Maybe. I don't even know. No, more than that, right? I sure hope so.
Shit, now I want to check. Hold on.
Anywho, while he's doing that, welcome back. It's the start of 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Merry late Christmas. We're going to start off the year with a bang.
4. We did 4 last year.
That's more than 3, baby. Let's go.
We did Saltburn, we did both of the Dune movies, and we did Godzilla Kong.
Damn, that's not good. Okay, here's the promise for 2025. We'll do more than 4. But granted, a lot happened in 2024, and I guess we could summarize that.
2024 was kind of a wild year. Relationship ended, moved out here. Luca also moved. My car got totaled twice. There's a lot going on last year.
Yeah, it was a year for sure.
But now we live very close to each other, so you'll probably be seeing us on the same camera more often.
Yep, we live around 9 minutes away, and we'll pop over here or vice versa into my place for some reviews.
Yeah,
whenever we want, and if not, we can just do it virtually, like we have been doing, and
living that Denver life now.
Yeah. Welcome to Denver, Cayman. I don't know. Did they know that you already moved here? Last episode, I don't think we'd ever talked about it, right?
I don't think I had moved by the last episode.
Really?
I think the last episode was still pre-move.
Oh man. Well, we both live in Denver now, so that's pretty sick. Very cool. This is kind of interesting that we're on the same camera because we've done it once before, I believe. Before in the my old apartment.
Right.
But yeah.
I think the time we did it before at your old apartment, though, was back when we were still doing just audio.
Was it? Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
But Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone's holidays went splendid. I visited one of my friends in Texas.
Safe.
Luca went to Germany.
Yep.
Wild time. How was Germany? You haven't told me about that yet.
No, I haven't. We were there for 2.5 weeks. Saw both sides of my family. My girlfriend came as well. My sister, her girlfriend came as well. And then my parents also went. So it was like a huge family gathering. On one side, I had met cousins that I had never met for 17 years.
That's wild.
So that was really cool. And then on the other side, I met cousins that, well, one of them I had met. He was maybe 1 or 2 when I first met him. And then I met another one of the cousins that wasn't even born yet the last time I was there. So
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I met all my family again. We took pictures all together, and it was a splendid time. It was awesome. Being able to, well, the only hard part was my girlfriend, she'd been learning German for a while, KK. And she was doing quite well.
She just used Duolingo or
Yeah, she was using Duolingo. Yeah. She's over a year streak now learning it. But it was actually, she got the year streak on Christmas.
Fancy.
So go you if you're listening.
Hope she's listening.
Me too. She better be. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I had to translate a lot, and it's hard for me because I'm thinking and hearing it in German obviously, and then I have to flip it in English. And she said that as the time kept going on, my English got progressively worse because German is just a different completely. So I was trying to translate, and then sometimes they would speak English and I would translate it to her in English and sometimes in German, and she was like, I was that in English, but it just got real confusing. But it was a good time overall. It was a good time. It was cold as shit, and then some days were really beautiful. But Germany,
did any of them criticize your German?
No, not really. No, I think the one comment I got was that you can tell there's a little bit of an accent when I speak German, but that's the only thing that I got. I actually got more perks,
Nice.
like more thumbs up
Yeah.
for my German abilities, speaking, reading, and writing than anyone else. Because I think last time that I was there, my German might not have been as good as it is now, but like I went there and it was like I knew practically everything. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. What about you? How was your break? What do you guys do?
Well, Lizzie, as you know, works at Sun and Ski, so she was quite busy the whole week.
Shit.
So I spent most of the time with Josh, who I believe you've also met.
Yeah.
Josh and I had some fun. We went to the mall and we went to an arcade.
Nice.
They had a deal. It was like for $20 you get a card that's unlimited play for 4 hours.
That's crazy.
So we played all of the arcade games like twice.
Yeah.
And we did laser tag.
That's sick. That's sick. Hell yeah.
It was like us, one other adult, and then like 4 kids. Like the, so we had the one kid on our team and then the adult and the other 3 kids on it.
That's a good time. That's a good time. Sick.
We destroyed him, of course.
Of course. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, had lots of fun. And then on Christmas, Lizzie's parents and one of her sisters and her brother came over. Her other sister lives in Seattle now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
but had some fun there.
So a smaller family gathering.
Yeah,
Nice.
but it was nice.
Love that.
Got a lot of candy, as you saw.
I saw. I know. I kind of.
And honestly, you can have one because I've already eaten quite a bit. It's like
Dude.
this is so much candy.
I'm pretty sure I gained like 12 pounds when I was in Germany. So,
You just kept
how do
feeding.
you do? Dude, yeah. Like so much bread. So much bread. But besides that,
Yeah. So today,
while you're doing that, I'm gonna go get some candy.
do it for our inaugural episode of 2025. We actually have a fan requested film
Yeah, we do.
that was requested last year, but we just never got around to it. I love Fun Dip.
Nice.
All right, let me see if I can find this email here. Should have pulled it up sooner. I was not prepared. Very short. Just says, "The Bodyguard. Sincerely, your favorite coworker." This is from Christine, former coworker at this point. Sorry, Christine, do miss you. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about the 1992 movie The Bodyguard, directed by Mick Jackson, written by Lawrence Kasdan, and starring Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston.
Before we start the movie, I did not realize that was Whitney Houston.
Who do you think it was?
A lookalike?
She sang Whitney Houston songs in the film.
I know. That's why I was really confused. And you'll see it in one of my notes. It says, why are they so, I don't know where it is yet, but it says somewhere in there, why are they singing so many Whitney Houston songs? At the end of the movie, I looked it up. I was like, no way. They were written for this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was one of your facts, but wow.
The budget was estimated $25 million and ended up making a little over $400 million. So, pretty good.
That's really good. Holy smokes.
What did you think about The Bodyguard?
I thought it was a pretty enjoyable watch, especially for a, what was it, 1992 movie?
Yeah.
Obviously there were like some things in there that were really like how do you call it? Like very basic, not basic, but like obvious, maybe
Predictable.
But there's like a word for like the romance side of things. Like it was very like cliche. Yes, that's the word.
I got you.
Yeah. Some parts of the movie were really cliche, but I think overall a fun watch. I think there were pretty good action scenes. There were like a few suspense scenes and love scenes.
Speaking of action scenes, the show literally opens with a gunshot, and I didn't realize how loud my volume was.
Same.
Scared the shit out of me.
So I was watching it. It was like I was turning it up, and I was like, oh, nothing's happening yet. And KK was next to me, and she wasn't watching because she was drawing. And then the gunshots rang, and she was like, "What the fuck?" I think the first note I have in this movie starts off with a gunshot because not a lot of movies just start off with gunshots.
Yeah, they just threw you into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was also honestly better than I was expecting it to be.
Really?
But also I didn't really have that many expectations because I knew nothing about this movie until Christine was like, "You should watch The Bodyguard." I was like, "Send us an email and I'll do
Yeah,
it."
exactly. Good rec.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't knock it.
But I think I haven't seen any other movies or shows with Whitney Houston in it. I checked out her IMDb page earlier and she's been in a couple things, but like,
That's so crazy to me that she was in movies
yeah.
as obviously like a famous singer. That's really cool.
But yeah, obviously, I think, like you said, there are a couple, some small knocks I have against it, but overall, it was pretty enjoyable.
Do we rate it now? Can we tell people what we thought of it, like out of 5 stars, or was that something we do at the end?
I mean, I guess you can do it now.
I think at first, actually, first remarks right after I finished watching it, KK asked me like, "What do you think of the movie?" And I was like, honestly, out of 5, like a 4.5. And then KK was like, "Well, damn, that must be like one of your most like your favorite movies." I was like, "Well, no," and so then I had to change it. So I'm gonna stick at like a 3.65.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably like somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe like closer to the 3.5 side than the 4 side, but it's good.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Then we're on the same page.
Actually, we're doing something different here. Instead of doing the game that we would normally do where we guess the summary on Letterboxd, we're just going to give you guys a summary so that you know what happened in the film. And that way, if you haven't seen it, you're not just confused for the whole episode.
But there's a kicker because we are going to be reading the summary to you. Every other word is going to be read by someone different. So Gaming gets the first word, I get the second word.
I don't know if that's going to work out.
I'm kidding. All right, Kevin, where are we reading it from?
I was going to summarize.
Okay, summarize it. Go for it.
Okay, so Kevin Costner's character is named Frank Farmer, and he is a former Secret Service agent. And also, if I forget something or miss something, feel free to step in.
Will do.
Former Secret Service agent who gets hired to protect a famous actress/singer named Rachel because she's like getting threatening like serial killer letters that like, you know, those old school where like someone would cut words out of a magazine or something. She was getting those kind of letters, and so they're like, this is also, I know this is a super old movie, but spoilers.
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it.
And so he's like, no, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And ends up showing up at her place, and it's like just chaos when he shows up. And he like does this thing where he uses a fake name every time he talks to someone.
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to see how easy it was to get in.
And it was really easy to get in.
So obviously not the best security, but they eventually talk him into taking the job, and they like go to some sort of, I don't even, was it like for a music video? And then she ends up getting like a bunch of people rush the stage, and at first she's like, I don't need your help, and then like people literally throw her off the stage or like pulling her, ripping parts of her costume. Yeah. And I was like, first of all, dummy.
That's what you get for not listening to The Bodyguard. You pay $3,000 a month too.
$3,000 a week.
A week.
Yeah. There's we keep cutting to one of his like old, I guess like FBI friends or whatever, and he's like, but how much is the pay though?
Yeah, he's like, it's good money, isn't it? And at the end, he was like, it's good money.
Yeah. But yeah, so after that, she's like, oh, I'll do better. I don't remember. There's another incident where like she becomes in danger again.
Is that what I think it is?
It's abstract.
It's not abstract to me. I know exactly what that is. Anyway. I like saw it in the video. Hold up.
Before they go to the cabin, like something else bad happens.
It was at the hotel, no?
Oh yeah, and like one of Frank's coworkers like almost raped her.
Yeah. Really strange. He was also a Secret Service agent.
Yeah. And then she got another letter.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what his name is, but the guy who hired Frank.
Get him.
He was like older man. I don't remember his name either. But he accidentally let slip that they had found another letter. And she was like, what do you mean? And turns out someone had previously broken into her home, left a note, and masturbated on her bed. They said it's like it was a room set up just for a photo shoot, and it's not actually where she sleeps, but still someone broke into her house.
Weird.
And so she got real scared, and so Frank takes her out to, I want to say, his parents' cabin.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if they mentioned even what state that's supposed to be in.
No idea, but in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
A river or lake.
And so they're hanging out there for a while, and one morning, Rachel's son, Fletcher, I think is his name, Fletcher, like tries to go out on the boat, and which is like a big deal because we learned earlier that he doesn't know how to swim. And so he like starts up the motor on this boat and is going out. Frank like tackles him into the water, and everyone gets mad because obviously
He knows that he can't swim.
yeah, I know they could have drowned. He
water.
could have drowned, but then literally as they're yelling at him, the boat exploded, which means that whoever is trying to harm Rachel, like, managed to get out to this cabin, and
Also disabled all the cars
yeah,
and cut the landline
yeah.
to the house.
So then Frank's like, "This guy's a professional." But find out the next night, I want to say, or maybe that night,
Speaking of, right?
because Rachel's sister, who is like her secretary, whatever, used to like started a band, and then Rachel joined the band and became way more famous, and so she's always been like living in her shadow kind of a thing. And so she said like one night when she was on a bunch of drugs, she went to a bar and hired a hitman to kill her sister.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. In case you needed a warning.
Don't do it.
But she was like, I've already paid the money, so there's no way to stop it, and I don't know who it is. So then this hitman manages to break into the cabin in the middle of the night and shoots the sister. I don't know if that was on purpose or if he just like couldn't tell the difference between them.
Yeah, maybe it was like kind of dark and they look kind of alike.
Yeah. But sister ends up dying.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
Car bundle. Deserved.
And then they find out that Rachel got nominated for the Oscars, and she was like, I have to go to this. Like, what? I trust you to protect. Oh, also, in the middle of all this, they end up having sex at some point. He like takes her over to his place, and he has a samurai sword in his basement, which is so sharp. He literally throws her scarf in the air, and it like lands and immediately cuts the scarf in two from how sharp the sword is.
Yeah. Sharp ass sword.
Wild.
But he feels regret the next morning.
Right. Because he's like,
He's blurring the lines.
he's like, I don't want to get romantically involved with my client. And she was like, so that's all I am to you? And then at the cabin, the sister also tried to fuck him.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know.
She like courted him, and he just like stood there, didn't do anything, which I think is kind of weird. He just like stood there, and then she like went up and kissed him. I feel like if a girl's coming on to me, and I have a girlfriend, she won't be getting anywhere close to my face to be able to kiss me.
Oh, he didn't have a girlfriend.
Oh, that's true.
He did tell off that other girl at the hotel bar, though. She like, I was watching the show from across the room. He was like, you should go back and keep watching. Yeah. I was like, damn.
Both me were like, ah! So then they get that news that she potentially won an Oscar, and then she, says, I trust you to protect me. And he was practically saying the whole time that this is where it's going to happen. She's in really big danger. And so she got paranoid. And when she was up on stage, when they were like pulling the name for a different, topic or whatever,
Yeah.
she thought it was a letter with like,
And she like kept seeing like staring at every single person in the crowd, and anyone who even made any sort of face, she was getting nervous.
yeah.
And so she eventually just ran off stage and started getting mad at him again for making her paranoid.
For making her look crazy in front of everyone.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Um,
Oh, shit.
you should do it.
I'm trying to get around that.
So then she goes back out because she did end up winning. And then, like, as she's saying hi to everyone, it turns out the coworker that previously almost raped her has disguised himself as a cameraman. And so he's like got this big old camera, but it's like has a gun inside of it.
Yeah.
And so then like while she's up on stage, he's pointing and with stupid because it has it has a laser pointer, and I'm like, that's not secret at all.
Like pointing on her face while she's walking, trying to get a good clear shot.
Yeah, that was a little silly. But he sees the other guy pointing the camera at her while she's on stage and runs out and dives, takes a bullet for her, I think just in the arm. And then, like, while he's on the ground and people are running up, he manages to still shoot. He goes like,
and the other guy gets killed. It was like a perfect headshot. It was great.
It was wild. Also, I'm like, all these people rushing the stage and no one like tried to grab the gun from him.
Right, right. They're like, he just got a gun. And he's like just laying there with the gun, pointing it at someone else.
Wild.
Kind of whack, yeah.
But yeah, kills the other guy. So finally safe or whatever. And then because he got shot, he had to go to the hospital. And then it skips forward a bit in time, and Rachel is about to, I think, go on tour or something. She's like boarding a plane, and he shows up to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then the plane like starts moving, and then she's like, wait, and runs off the plane.
Wait, I gotta go say bye again.
And runs back and makes out with him for a little bit.
Yeah. So like, are they together at that point, or are they saying goodbye forever? That's what I didn't get.
I think it's like them ending up together.
Okay, because he got her another bodyguard because he's done with that line of work,
Right.
at least with celebrities.
I don't know.
So the bodyguard that he got her to hire is the guy that was working for the Secret Service, where earlier he always was like, it's good money, isn't it? It was that same guy. But yeah, I think
She also has like her head of security, which I don't know how that's different from bodyguard, but it's like,
yeah.
his name's Tony, but he was a cool guy. I liked his character.
I like Tony. Yeah, I hated the other guy.
Oh, you're publicist?
Publicist.
I don't even remember his name. He was annoying.
He was such a taste. He should have died.
But yeah, I think the ending is meant to be them ending up together.
Okay.
That's how I interpret it.
Yay. So cool.
But yeah, so there's a basic rundown. We'll do a short break, and then we'll come back for our proper review right now.
And we're back.
All right. I guess let me pull open my notes here.
Me too.
The opening had a lot of like very moody, like noir music.
Yeah, it was. I mean, let's just talk about the score, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think because like there's like the moments where it's like just that kind of trumpet music I was talking about, but then there's also like a lot of the movie is just Whitney Houston's music,
Yeah.
which is also really good.
Yeah. She wrote those songs for this movie.
Most of them.
Most of them.
I'll get to
well, apparently, from what I read, is like because of this movie, it became like the third world's best-selling album.
Yes,
Right.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's all I saw.
There was a point where Rachel is sitting out by the pool and she has headphones in, but she was listening to her own songs, and I was like, "What a fucking ego!"
Yeah, true. I didn't even thought about that.
And then when they're trying to beef up security, Frank was like, we have to change your schedule. You can't be doing the stuff you normally do. And she was like, I want to do the stuff I always do. I want to go get brunch with my friends. And he was like, get brunch on Tuesdays. And the other guy was like, brunch on a Tuesday? I was like, what the fuck is wrong with that? Like, what a stronger reaction.
My bad for even suggesting that. No half-off mimosas on Tuesdays. Yeah, I was... Some of the things in this movie, I was just like...
That was kind of funny.
Whack. Okay, so... This is one of like those cliche moments where the first time that Rachel met the bodyguard, she gave him like this look where immediately both KK and I were like, okay, well, they're going to fall in love and they're going to be together.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I didn't really buy the romance.
I didn't either.
It felt a little forced to me.
Yeah, it was forced, but I think that was just like, that's like the cliche part for me.
Right. I just didn't see a whole lot of chemistry between them as actors. I think Whitney Houston did an amazing job for like not being a professional actor.
True.
I thought her performance was very lively and it just felt natural. Like it didn't feel like she was acting.
Yeah.
Whereas Kevin Costner, I feel like for being a professional actor felt a little less impressive to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just because her performance was pretty like solid and natural. And I don't know why maybe the bodyguard wasn't just not his like
I could tell it made sense in the beginning because he's like trying to act like big tough guy and no emotions. But then later on in the movie, even when there are scenes where he's like supposed to be happy or supposed to be nervous about something, like I don't know. I didn't read that emotion in what he was doing. And so that made it harder as well when they were like trying to have romantic moments. And I was like, I just don't see it.
I mean, to me, because he said it at one point too, he was like, he has been practicing and learning a lot of like trying to ignore the normal emotions that most people have when it comes to emotions. So it could have been just that he was so not normal human anymore that it just comes across as like weird and forced.
Like, how is that charming? Why would someone be attracted to that?
I mean, maybe she just liked his looks in the way that he was just like.
I mean, he's not that attractive of a man.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
if you're attracted to Kevin Costner, let us know.
Yeah, let us know because I mean, I didn't think he was that attracted, but I can definitely see. At least in that point of the movie, again, the cliche thing, I'll go back to that. It's just like right away, the look she gave him was just like, okay, so this is not going to be like a normal, like business relationship. This will be at one point like her wanting to fuck him.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it turned into for me, like immediately. And then I did think it was interesting though, while like the movie was going on, that they spent such a long time like remodeling her grounds and the house itself, and nothing ever happened there with that remodel besides like the car driving by like the front row.
Yeah, they added extra security to the gate and like replaced the windows
and the cameras and like cut trees back and like added lighting and stuff. But like if you're gonna do all that and show quite a few minutes in the movie of them like doing this work and installing the cameras and adjusting them, why not use them in the film?
No.
I guess that's a negative.
I mean, there was also kind of like a lot of the movie was kind of like trying to throw you off the scent because there was also like, I don't know if we mentioned this in the summary, but turns out the creepy letters she was getting is completely separate from the person trying to kill her.
Yeah.
There was just a separate guy who was obsessed with her and like had a locker full of photos and like after the music video thing, like grabbed one of her gloves off the ground and was like creepily sniffing it, but like not the same guy as the murderer.
Yeah, he was just a big fan. He just loved her. I wondered, he's probably the guy that broke in, maybe. Could be jerked off on the bed because the other guy would not have done that, I don't think.
And so a lot of the movie is like trying to make you think that like this creepy obsessed person is the dangerous person, but two separate people.
Yeah.
So it's like, haha, I gotcha.
Yeah. I did like the kind of forward and backward between like the head of security and the bodyguard.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a good little, rivalry they had going. And then at one point where she went to like a club without like the bodyguard's quote unquote permission at first.
Right.
She went to the club and like we're gonna, for promos,
Yeah.
kind of like sing the song as her music video was coming out.
Yeah.
And, then it turned south like we talked about. And then when she was leaving, the head of security thought the limo was going to be parked out front. So he was like punching his way through all these people. And then he got to the front and he was like, where the hell is the limo? Where's the limo?
Yeah.
And it turns out that the bodyguard had actually taken her out like a backdoor exit and told the limo to park like in the alleyway.
Right. Okay, so there was I don't remember this character's name either, but like when he shows up at the mansion, there's just like one of the other employees there, and he's like,
Washing the car?
right. He was like, you work for me now. I was like, are you allowed to do that?
Yeah. True. And he like showed him at one point a quick snippet of how to do a 180 in the limo. Yeah. Which
also never came up.
See, it's like all these like cool things that they could have done something with and then they didn't do anything with. Like the ground's remodeled, so it could have been like a really cool break-in scene with like, ground fights. And then all of a sudden the guy, the dude that shines for cars comes and like saves the day.
When the SUV was chasing them, he was like, you want me to do a 180? And he was like, no.
It's like, okay, well, it would have been really cool. Like 180 and he shoots out the front window and like pops the tire or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They did a lot of setting up that went nowhere.
I know. But anyway, again, like the rivalry between the two. And then they got home.
Because they had that fight.
Yeah, they had the fight in the house.
Yeah.
So basically, like the bodyguard drove her home, tucked her into bed. And then the head of security came back and it looked like he was wet because it was raining that day.
Yeah.
And
Did he like walk all the way home?
That's what it looked like, right? He was like drenched. And he comes in fucking pissed into the kitchen and then they fight each other and this guy just gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And then he like picks up like a knife out of like a butcher block and the bodyguard turns around and just...
Because he was like, when he walked in, Frank was eating a peach with a knife. And so he already had a knife. The other guy picks up a knife and he was like, and yeah, he just like...
Frank? Straight here. Like stuck in the wall beside his head. And that was it, really.
And that one that did get set up earlier because when the old guy who I can't remember his name comes to hire Frank, they're like in his backyard and they originally offered him $2,000 a week and he was like, if I take this job it's gonna be $3,000. He was like, you have to be really good for $3,000. He was like, well, let me show you. And he like just has a pile of throwing knives that he picks up
like in his yard on the ground. He just picks them up and misses two of them.
Yeah, the first one he like throws really badly and then the other one he accidentally throws backwards, but I think he was also doing that on purpose.
I think so.
It's kind of hard to tell. There was a lot of stuff in the beginning where I was like, I don't know what's happening.
and like none of it got used to when like anyway. And then the next three he like perfectly hits into like this little piece of wood.
Yeah,
that he had sticking in the ground.
So we knew before the fight that he was good at throwing knives.
Yeah. My next note after that is Rachel coming onto the bodyguard, where she asked him out on a date. She was like, well, what are you going to do when I go on a date with someone? And then like, what are you going to do when I go into their house? And then she was like, well, I want you to take me out on this date.
Yeah.
So she was like asking him obviously to.
Well, she's wearing like a cute jogging outfit.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, well, I was just worried that I'd have to jog with you. And so,
yeah, that's one of the moments that I think emphasized what I meant earlier, is because that feels like a cute, like I'm making a joke, but the way Kevin Costner said that, I was like,
huh? Yeah. I agree. Totally.
Like it didn't feel like flirting. It felt like
yeah, this is what I think.
Right. It was just so flat.
I agree. I don't know, like I feel like there were supposed to be jokes happening, but
like there was another moment after one of the incidents where she was like, I promise I'll cooperate now, and he just goes, that's good. I was like, cool.
Next. Yeah, well then they went out and that's what we were saying earlier is they went to the movies, and after the movies, they went to his house for some reason into the basement. Then she sees the samurai sword.
Katana.
Yeah, that's when they do that thing, and then they wake up the next morning.
They showed like 3 different shots when they were like in bed. They kept cutting to a close up of the sword on the dresser with her panties on the sword.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do we keep showing it?
Yeah. I don't know. Very strange. That happened. And then they actually, which I thought was interesting because it was still like early-ish in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's when they showed the creepy guy, like his face and everything.
Right.
And that's when I was like, oh, that's interesting that they showed like what we don't know who the perpetrator is, his face. And that's kind of when I was like, okay, well, it can't be him then. It doesn't make any sense for them to kind of ruin the reveal so early.
I feel like it took me 2 or 3 times to like recognize him after drilling him. I was like, is that the same guy or is it just someone who looks similar?
I don't know that. I don't know if it's very good.
People in the 90s all look the same.
Yeah, they all have the same haircut. That's true. I just thought it was interesting that
Because honestly, like his face looked pretty similar to the coworker's face.
Kinda, yeah, like both kind of ratty looking.
They were like
He
very
had
like,
blonde hair, right?
yeah, their hair was different, and like the creepy guy had way longer hair, but like their face shape was like very slender, like pronounced cheekbone.
Yeah, like serial killer vibe. And I did think it was funny when they were out on the date and they were like dancing together, and then like I guess some waiters behind them accidentally dropped some dishes. And, like he jumped to like look whatever, and she was like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you."
Yeah, I was also like, I feel like a trained bodyguard should know the difference between danger and someone dropping a plate.
I agree. Especially if he's apparently the best.
Right, because he was like.
I guess he's ready for anything.
Also, another thing that kept coming up was he apparently like never forgave himself because he wasn't working when Reagan got shot. And
Yeah, he wasn't on duty.
he's like very upset that he wasn't there to protect the president.
Yeah, he like left for 6 months or something like that, and everyone was like, "I lost track of you after the Kennedy thing,
The Reagan.
the Reagan thing, and we're all like,
I was like, why is this so important to him?
yeah,
Like Reagan didn't even die.
no, you weren't even a part of it. You weren't even there." And apparently he has PTSD now of potentially not being there when something happens.
Yeah.
I said, boom, and they kiss in his basement and sleep together. How unprofessional. That was my note.
I mean, he realized it the next morning.
I just think it's funny that for some guy that comes across as like so straight edge and like professional Secret Service
Like he's
agent.
talking about discipline and all.
Yeah, discipline, and then like all of a sudden he knows like what she's doing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna sleep. And the next morning he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this.
And that was another thing when the sister started coming on to him. He was like, I've made my mistakes. And she was like, you didn't say no when the boss asked. I was like, got him.
Yeah. God is as good. Yeah. Another one I have is the comment that you made earlier where it was like that woman at the party at the hotel. The woman comes up to the bodyguard and is like, I've been watching you from across the room. That was this note. Or did you go back there and continue watching? That was such a good line.
Well, because that was like,
That's probably the best line. Of the movie.
Rachel was trying to make him jealous because this was like right after he told her we're not hooking up anymore.
Yeah.
And so at this party, he's talking to his coworker who keeps saying that he's like protecting the mayor or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, he has a job, but he's not on duty currently.
Right. But then Rachel comes over and is like obviously trying to make Frank jealous, and so grabs his coworker and like heads up to, there's like, I guess it's a bedroom,
A private room? Yeah, weird.
themed like an awkward place.
Yeah.
It honestly looked like a closet.
It was like one of those closet doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the little
slats.
slats. Yeah.
But then obviously they get in there and she changes her mind because he keeps trying to kiss her and she's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And like,
Well,
pushes him away.
she was gonna start, and then she like felt bad about it, I guess, and had to change her mind.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then like she keeps trying to get up and he's like pushing her down and stuff. And then she eventually does get up, and then Tony, the head of security, throws the guy out.
And then they went off to a secluded cabin.
Yeah.
Right after that. for some reason.
Oh, right. Also, completely forgot about this during the summary because they're still fighting, and Frank like leaves the hotel for a bit and is just like walking around. He like beats some guy up in the kitchen.
He was gonna do his round.
Right.
He said, "I'm gonna do."
But like one of the people in the kitchen is taking a smoke break, and he just beats the fuck out of him.
Because he said, like, you need to leave or go away. Maybe he thought that he wasn't supposed to be there or work there or something like that, and he just wanted to smoke in the corner. Weird. I don't know. Beats the shit out of this guy.
He was like letting out his emotion.
Yeah. Unprofessional.
Unprofessional, yeah.
For being the best. And then this woman comes around the corner. She's like, no, stop beating up my husband.
Right.
I'm like, damn, bruh.
Absolutely wild.
Fucking crazy.
So while he's beating the shit out of the employees, Rachel gets a call and at first thinks that it's her son calling from LA, but then I want to say it's the stalker guy.
I think it's a stalker, yeah. He pretends to be her kid.
Right, he's like talking with a high voice, and then she's like, "Oh, Fletcher, is that you?" And he goes, "No." He's like, "Mommy." She's like, "Hey." And so that really freaked her the fuck out, and that's why she agreed. She was like, "Okay, get me the fuck out of here."
Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry, I've been acting bad. I swear I'll listen to everything you say. Blah, blah, blah. And then they went off to the secluded cabin. And then Nikki tries to kiss him. Well, she does kiss him.
Nikki. That was the sister's name.
Yeah.
Oh, also, you mentioned the guy who got a shot at the end, the bad guy.
Yeah.
I had to watch that scene twice because the first time I like couldn't really tell what happened, but like the first shot I think he hits him in the chest, but then he shoots him again, and I couldn't tell if it hit his head or the camera. It almost looked like it hit the camera and the camera like exploded into his face. Oh, but it was like violent.
It was, yeah.
It's only on screen for like half a second, but I was like, ugh.
But it was like the bloodiest thing. Yeah. And for a second I thought he like just got a perfect headshot too, and his head like exploded, kind of.
That could also be,
I don't know, but it was quick and gruesome looking. And at one point, because like during the middle of the movie, whenever Portman, which is the other Secret Service guy, the killer, or actual the shooter,
yeah,
Portman, in the middle of the movie, I didn't write it down for some reason, but I told KK, I was like, it's this fucking guy for sure.
he was like, it gave very creepy vibes.
Weird vibes, yeah. And then it was him, and I said I called it. Oh, and then her, while she was like reading the Oscars and all the shooting stuff went down, there was this really quick snippet of her manager like picking up the Oscar card and like wiping the blood off of it and like putting it to his jacket pocket. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong?
No, what his problem is. He like wanted a keepsake to be like, yeah, we did win the Oscar.
We did with that. Like, this guy only cares about like publicity and winning something. He doesn't care about life. He doesn't care about their
Like even during the like that whatever when they were doing the music video, he was like, if we told more people about this, we can make millions.
Yeah.
And Frank like threw him up against the wall and was like, better not.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, and then like after that whole Oscar things goes down, that's what we talked about. It cuts straight to that airport scene where she was like, wait, stop the plane, and kissed him, and then I think that was it.
Oh no, sorry. There is one more scene. After that, we cut to like some conference, or there's like a bunch of senators sitting at a table, and it like zooms in on some religious person. I don't know what his title is, but he's like saying a prayer before they do their meeting, and it like zooms in and Frank is in the back.
And I think it was the cross that Frank.
I think it was the same cross.
I think it was the same cross. Which makes no sense because Frank was there. So it's like, I don't know.
And then it freeze frames on the like it's like half of this priest's body in the cross, and then tiny little Frank head in the background.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a weird freeze frame.
And that was it. Is there a second to this movie? Is there a Bodyguard 2? Well, why would they end the movie like that?
I think it's just to show that he's still working. Oh, who fuck? He's back on the job.
Who cares? The movie's over at that point. The story's done.
Yeah, they didn't need that scene.
No, there were so many scenes in this movie they didn't need. Unfortunately, but still a fun watch.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we will then move on to trivia.
Yes.
Have a few things here. In 2019, Kevin Costner revealed that the woman he's carrying on the poster, which is there, is not actually Whitney Houston, but her double.
I knew there was double.
Which because I saw this poster when I was looking up the movie, and then I was like, I don't remember ever seeing this shot.
No.
But then it's because they took the photo for the poster separately from the movie.
Why would they do that? Oh, I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
What part of the movie was this?
Well, that would have been like when he's carrying her out of the club to the limo.
True.
But like that angle never happened in the movie.
No. It looks way too nice to have it happened in the movie.
Yeah. When Farmer enters the rehearsal for Rachel's mansion, immediately to his left is, you'll probably be able to pronounce this word better than I will, but right there.
Maschinenmensch,
Right.
which is, I guess, robot,
Yeah.
machine person.
There's a
Direct translation.
very, very popular old film called Metropolis, and the robot that he walks by is from that movie.
Oh.
And I'm assuming it looked like her costume for her music video was based off that robot, was what I got out of it.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Yeah. Because yeah. By the way, that was a really cool reveal in the movie where she like took off her clothes. She was like all sparkly, like robot-y looking with a cool mask.
During their date, they go to see a movie called Yojimbo, which was released in the United States as The Bodyguard.
Huh.
The movie, it's a Japanese movie called Yojimbo. When it was released in the US, they released it was called The Bodyguard.
That's funny. It looked like a pretty good movie. Like,
It's a Kurosawa film.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the
He was like, I've seen it 64 times.
Lawrence Kasdan, the writer of this movie, really likes Kurosawa films. And so
Surprise.
and so named this movie after that movie.
That's pretty cool.
So that's why this movie is called The Bodyguard, because of that other movie that was called The Bodyguard.
Wait, because of that other movie?
Yeah.
Damn, no creativity, Barry. Shit.
The basement used for where the whole like sword scarf cutting scene happens is the same basement used for Gibbs's basement in the show NCIS. I don't know if we've ever seen that.
I think I've seen NCIS, but I haven't like actually watched the whole.
Yeah, I'm not like a super fan, but I've seen a few episodes, and yeah, same basement apparently.
Huh. Cool.
And then a last fact here, going back to what you mentioned earlier, was actually I Will Always Love You was written by Dolly Parton.
Huh.
And on an interview on the Graham Norton show, she said that she was asked to use the song for the movie, and she said, yeah, sure, whatever, and sent it in and just completely forgot about it. And then one day when she was driving home, she heard Whitney Houston's version on the radio, and she had to pull over to finish listening to it because of how good it was.
Dang. I didn't know that she wrote that.
Yeah.
That's sick. Cool. Damn. Those are cool facts. Yeah.
So that's all the trivia I've got.
Nice.
Next, we'll move on to Get Wrecked. Do you have a recommendation?
No. Oh, actually, yeah, I do. When you fly to Europe on a plane, it's not a recommendation. Well, actually, it is a recommendation. On the planes that you take, if it's a 787 Dreamliner, pick your seats in the very back of the plane. I'm talking about like the last row.
Okay.
And get the very ends, because it's a 2-seat and a 2-seat on either side, because the plane gets more narrow in the back. If you pick like the very back, the 2 seats on the left side, the seat closest to the window, there's like a huge, like maybe this much space between, probably like this, like that, huge, like 1.5 feet of space between your seat and the edge of the plane. And basically you could put all your shit here on the left on the ground and then stretch out your legs as if you're in a first class seat.
Cool.
So it's a really good rec. I was like looking at the seats. I was like,
Does that only work on international flights?
I think so.
I've never been in the last row on any flight, so I don't know.
I haven't either. I tried it on this international. I could have picked, like emergency exit row.
I feel like I usually end up being like right above the wing.
Yeah.
Or like right
middle plane. I chose very back of the plane. And another reason I wanted it is because usually on international flights, which became true, there were a lot of kids and babies. And you couldn't really hear them because like when you're sitting like this, usually the babies are like screaming forward because adults are like, you know, shaking like that. So we're like in the very back, like all the sound just goes forward. And there was no one kicking our seat in the back. There's no noises coming from our back.
There was a baby on my flight to Texas. There was a baby across the aisle from me. And as people were boarding, she was like talking to someone else. I don't know if it was a stranger, if they knew each other, but she was like, he's very good at flying. I was like, we'll see about that.
Bullshit.
Turned out not that bad, actually.
Really? Oh, okay.
It was a good flight.
Yeah, well, that's my rec. Sit in the very back, one of those two if you're going international. It's awesome. It's great.
My recommendation is going to be
There is a show on Max, formerly known as HBO,
Which I don't know why they changed their name, but okay.
called Creature Commandos, which is technically, depending on how you look at it, the first piece of the new DC universe. I say technically because they've like retroactively made a couple things canon, like the Peacemaker show is 99% canon, and the second Suicide Squad movie, the good one,
Yeah.
is also retroactively part of the new universe. But Creature Commandos is the first, like, was made as part of the new universe. Very good show. So, worth watching. It's almost over. I think the finale is next week. There's 8 episodes total. So,
What, an hour long each?
I'm probably like 40, 45.
Okay. I do have another rec, actually. So you get a 2-for-1. And I have not seen this rec yet, but it's a movie.
Oh, yeah?
And it's a vampire movie, and it's called Nosferatu, Nosferatu. And apparently it's really good.
I saw Nosferatu.
Oh. How is it?
So, good read for the audience. I've seen it.
Sick.
Nosferatu is really good. I might have mentioned this on one of our earlier podcasts, but earlier this year I read Dracula.
And you kept up with it, right?
Yeah. And
Each month or something like that?
yeah, there's a website that will send you parts of the book as they happen in real time. And so I want to say it ended in September, maybe October. But yeah, so read Dracula. And then obviously Nosferatu is actually a, like, I don't want to call it a ripoff, but like it was a way to make the story in Germany without like getting copyright problems, which didn't work out for them. But
It didn't work out for him.
no, so the original Nosferatu movie came out in, I want to say, like the 20s.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Um,
Old.
yeah, real old movie.
Damn.
Yeah, 1922 is a silent German movie.
Expressionist vampire film.
But they basically took the story of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel and just like changed a couple things, and they're like, it's not the same.
This one part is different.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, the new movie is, for me at least, is very good.
Would you consider it a horror movie, or was it?
100%.
Yeah, it was a horror.
Yeah.
Because my buddy was like, it's not really like a horror. It's not really that scary.
It's not, it's more of a, see, I think I don't really have other words for it, but I feel like I have 2 categories of horror movies. There's like Saw movies, which is like a bunch of people die and there's a lot of gore and stuff like that. And like, this is like more psychological horror. Like, it's just like scary vibes.
God. It's a vibey horror movie.
It's a vibey horror movie. But yeah, it's also, fair warning, because I told one of my other friends about this and she was like, I don't know if I want to watch that actually. Very, very horny movie.
I'm in.
But like, I feel like vampires and sexuality go together a lot, but it's like it's not like normal vampire, like it's not sexy horniness.
Yeah.
It's like uncomfortable horniness. Like you wouldn't want to watch it with your parents.
That's awesome.
But yeah, if you're down for that kind of vibe, Nosferatu's a good one. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family about us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell icon. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CashFanPod. If you want to send us a message, you can DM us, leave a YouTube comment, or send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com.
Definitely do that.
Luca, do you want to tell them what kind of messages they can send us?
You guys can send us anything from you loved this podcast or recommendations of more movies, shows, episodes that you want us to look at. Tell us things that you love about the podcast, things that we should change. Just like this time, we did a whole like summary at the very start, which is what some of the listeners and viewers asked of us to do because it made it easier for them to like, you know, understand what the movie was about again, or like a refresher kind of thing. To things that you would like us to add or change or anything really, just let us know. We'd love to throw on some comments that people have for our podcast, and yeah, it'd be great to hear from you guys.
All right, and on that note, this has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.